Hi friends, Judy here from an Aussie and a Kiwi world. Just actually coming back to you on Thursday the 3rd of April 2025, just with a quick update on what I've been stitching on, a couple of finishes, and to give you what my plans are going forward, and of course a big update on my Saga project. So let's get into it. I'll talk about some personal things and my life update at the end for those that don't like to actually stay around for that, but I will give you more information about that later on. So this is actually my newly painted craft room, and as you can see there's no shelving behind me anymore. This used to be a full row of shelving with lots and lots of tubs filled with lots of cross stitch stuff. It has now been, they've all been dismantled obviously, and the tubs have been given away, and it was a very big mission to try to actually empty out those tubs. It was a reality check to how much craft stuff I've got. So, but anyway, we're not here for that. So, okay, let me show you a couple of things that I've been stitching on. I wanted to actually pull out something that was quite easy without getting into too much detail. Our house is on the market if you are a new subscriber or you've just popped past for the first time. My house is on the market ready for me to leave New Zealand and go back to Australia. And because we've got open homes or we've got people coming to view the house, I need to just have a project that I can take away, drive around the corner, sit there and stitch while someone's looking at the house, and then be able to go back without having to always go down the street and have a coffee or a hot chocolate or something like that. So I've been picking up my caterpillar cross stitch projects, and what I thought that there was 4 that were actually still in progress. I was very, very surprised to see that I had actually finished 2. So the first one that I had finished was the Hello Sunshine, which is this one. This has got so many bright colors. It's not a huge project, and it's just the colors in it are absolutely amazing. So I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to do this without too much, with it not having anything behind it. So hopefully you'll be able to see. So this is the first one for Hello Sunshine. I just love how there's pops of color everywhere, like it's the same color. There's not a huge amount of colors in these designs, but they just spread them around really great. And there is no back stitch on this project. Now I don't know whether there should be, but I haven't done any back stitch, and I still think it looks amazing how it is. So that is Hello Sunshine. The next project, was the one that I had actually finished, was Hello Pumpkin, which is this one. Try to get it so it's no glare. So this is more of the autumn colouring, and this is the finished project. This is just stitched on a 16 count Aida. These Aidas were purchased from Frog and Tink in Australia. They are actually just what looks like printed colours. It's not the whole, it's just the front. So this is the autumn Hello Pumpkin. That's finished. The next one that I've just I want to pull out and do some work on is the Hello Dear. I'd like to get these finished this year. Excuse me, sorry, itchy eye. I'd like to get these finished this year, so I am going to work on these quite a bit to actually get them done. So that's the Hello Dear, and this is my progress, which is actually not much progress. So all I've done is started the deer. I think the deer is, no, not completely finished, just still got his face. So the deer down the bottom, these leaves are at the top of the tree, so that is the top of the project. And then I just need to finish all the rest. So this is the winter one, which sort of comes in at the like sort of Christmas style, which is obviously not the New Zealand or the Australian Christmas being in winter, but that's okay. I still like to do the design how it's designed rather than make it change to my area. So this one I have actually just pulled out just in the last couple of days. So this is Hello Petal. This is the spring one. So, and all I have done on this one, just the last couple of days, I've just filled in the little sheep down the bottom. Filled that in. I've done nothing above these leaves, which is why I've just folded over the fabric. And next I will, so I filled in all of the sheep was actually outlined in the grey. So I filled in that sheep, and I've done the green leaves at the top, and also the little, what look like a light blue purple colour leaves also in here. Just so start from the bottom and I'll fill in as we go up, which I wanted to colour complete, but I'm not too sure I'm comfortable to count that far right to the top, but this is pretty cool. Now recently, at the beginning of March, so nearly a month now, I flew down to Christchurch and spent a few days with my wonderful friend Nicola. Caught up with quite a few cross-stitch friends that I have within the country, and it was nice to actually meet some new people at the same time. So while I was down there, my main aim was to work on Saga, work on Alice in Wonderland, and also start 2 of the long dogs, which was Fish and Ships and also Fishies Going On. I did manage to do all of those things while I was down there, which was actually really cool. So the first one that I actually did work on was Alice in Wonderland, which is this one. This is the details just obviously up the top here of where you can find this pattern. There are multiple patterns around, and there's a couple of different designers that have done similar designs like this. And this is similar to my Mary Poppins one as well, which is from a different designer. But so what I'll do is I'll pop a photo up here of what the progress was prior to me going to the retreat, and I will give you an update. Sorry, it's not going to all be fully covered, and I'll give you an update of what the project looks like now, coming home from the retreat. And I can get my hands wrapped around. And this is now where I'm at with it. So this is actually an amazing project. I actually love this. It was really hard to put down. So at the moment I'm sort of going through a stage of where I like to get the borders done, and then I can work anywhere I like. So once I've got these borders done and I know that it's going to, 1, fit on the fabric, and 2, it'll give me anywhere to start from, so I can start from anywhere. The extra calico that I've got on here is because sometimes when I'm trying to do the edges, I'm too close to, so on this side, try from here, when I tried to, excuse me, put this on the Q-snap and then get it round, pull this Q-snap around, because I stitch in the ditch, which is a little bit backwards, but I couldn't get to these side panels too easy to stitch it. So I threw some calico edging on there, and then now once it wraps around the Q-snap, it actually still gives me quite some deep space, because that is not just the that's not just the edge of the top square just there. It is actually here down the bottom here. So I needed to actually be able to get into these within the Q-snap without having a hassle of not having too much tension. So I've done that. The Alice in Wonderland, Alice here, I sort of done a little bit of a trick. I tried to. So I stitched the variegated thread, which this is a Silks for You PR147. I stitched the top of the body in a just sort of straight across, left and right. Down the bottom, I wanted to sort of give it a flowy effect, that she was actually falling down the hole. So I sort of just started one place and then just went round and round and round, moved over, done the same right across. So hopefully that sort of gives it a little bit of a flowing effect rather than just a straight left and right. But I really actually love that project. I'm just going to get some figures for you on there. So I am currently at 11,535 stitches out of 34,000, so 33% I'm up to. And while I was away, I ended up stitching 5,118 stitches, so that wasn't bad for a couple of sessions down in Christchurch. The next two are actually new starts, and these are the two that I wanted to start at the retreat with Nicola. Nicola has completed Fish and Ships, and she's also got fishies going on as well. I actually got enabled by her in relation to what I was going to stitch with, how I was going to stitch them. So Nicola has used the same floss on both of them, and I thought that would actually be a really cool idea if I put them both next to each other, so which is what I've done. I will put a photo up here just to show you what Fish and Ships looks like, if you haven't seen it before, which I'm pretty sure you would have. Now I dyed this fabric myself, and I'll put a photo up somewhere else, maybe up here, to show you the fabric that I dyed, which is just a 16 or 18, maybe a 16 count Ada. It was just a white one, and I changed the colour. So I've now popped the colour to be this colour, and this is my progress so far. So I started this at retreat, and when I started at retreat, move it around a bit. I had started in this corner with just this fish. So I'd gone all around the border just with a half stitch, and these borders are actually two stitches wide. So I just done one stitch all the way up, just a half stitch to give my borders. And once I'd done that, then I started stitching. So as I've been stitching, I've been filling in the border correctly. Now, this fish here, because they're pointing to the left, when I started the other project, which was the fishies going on, it is actually on the other side, which is this one. And at retreat, I started the fish on this side. So I'll pop a photo up just to show you where I'd started and how I started, just a fish on either side. And this is fishies going on. The floss that I'm using for this is DMC 3808, which is a really nice dark deep green or teal colour. So the figures that I have on these are, so the Fish and Ships, this one here is 6,889 stitches out of 16,454, and I'm at 41.87%. And the fish is going on, this one is 6,000, oops, got that squiff now, is 6,005 stitches, and that is out of 17,224, and it's just over 34%. So if you look at both of them together, and hopefully there's not too much light coming through, it looks like this. So these were started on the 8th of March, just at the retreat, and I've done so over 12,000 stitches on these two inclusive since that time. So these have been getting a lot of my attention the last couple of weeks, because I have a bit of a dilemma with my Saga. So Saga was stitched on, and I'll put a copy of the picture up here if you're not sure of what Saga is, a long dog sampler. Saga was stitched on just an 18 count Ada, and I stitched it with the Silks for You PR Barbie. Now Barbie silk is actually a limited edition, and I was pretty sure I purchased 2 hanks of it at the beginning, which I thought would have been from the same batch. They would have been very similar. I then went on and bought another couple because I thought there was another project that I want to use the Barbie silk for, another long dog that I wanted to use it for. So I bought another couple of hanks later on, and knowing that they were done in a different batch, they could have possibly been a little bit different, but that's fine. I could have just used both of them for the other one. Well, the unfortunate part is the second one that I purchased originally is not the same colouring as the main part of what I've done on Saga. So when I picked Saga up in January, on the 3rd of January, Saga was going to be my focus. So as you may have seen in my previous video, I'd finished Adele from Tilton Crafts, and that was my focus piece for 2024. My focus piece for 2025 was to get Saga finished, and I wanted to get that finished by the 31st of December 2025. Now I picked that back up in January, and in January when I picked it up, it was at 25,311 of the 104,773 stitches. So I was at a percentage of just over 24%. Now, currently, as of today, I am at 68,999 stitches, and I'm at 65.86%. Now, I have stitched nearly 40,000 stitches since the 3rd of January. Mind you, the last couple of weeks I haven't been doing anything because of the colour dilemma within the silk. So I'll explain what that is in a moment. So this is the fabric and where I'm up to at the moment. So I'm just going to try to step back to give you the whole picture. So hopefully you can see the whole project there. I absolutely loved this project, and it was really hard to put down even when I'd had a problem with the colouring. So I'm not being pedantic, excuse all the crinkles, I'm not being pedantic with how I've been stitching this. So all I've done is just grabbed a piece of silk, folded it in half, done the loop start, and just stitched with it. So how it come up, whether it's going to show a big lump of purple or a big lump of pink, that's totally fine. But as you can see on these, the majority of the colour that you can see here is actually pink or purple. So when I pulled out the next hank, because I totally ran out of the first hank in doing that much work, when I pulled out the second hank, it actually comes up, and see these stitches just here? They come up with a very dark blue tone. Now, I don't see that throughout the project previously, and I'm concerned that now the top 2 layers of Saga are going to have a different look than what the bottom does. So I have contacted Jo from Silks for You, and she has kindly asked me to send her some photos of the skeins that I've got to see where the difference is with the colouring. Now, knowing that she has advised that they are limited edition and they are done differently, apparently they splash colours onto the silk or however it's done. So I understand that I may not be able to get a perfect match, but I'm sort of just needing something that's not going to be so blue tone, and I might need to get her to maybe emphasize the purple rather than the blue. But when I try to take photos of the colour of the silk comes up to be pink. It looks like, when you look at this, I'll put a photo up here of what it looks like when I'm taking a photo. It all looks pink and purple. Like, I don't have any problem with looking at the photo, but when I actually look at the hank itself, which I'll just pull this out and show you. This is the colour. Okay, so the majority of this silk hank that you can see is purple, or that I can see is purple. But when I take a photo of this, it comes out like this. I'll pop a photo up there, and all I can see in that photo is all of this pink, not the majority of the purple. So there's chunks of these that this is purple, but when you look closer, it's actually blue. And now when I stitch it and it's on the fabric against the other stitches, it definitely looks blue. It doesn't look pink or purple. So I don't know whether I just run with it and just try to now manipulate the floss to pull the pink bits out and the purple bits and try to cut the blue out. But I don't really want to have to make it such a hassle to get it done, because it's been such a fun project, and I certainly don't want to stop right now when I've done 65%. So yeah, so that is my stitching. I have been stitching quite a bit of a nighttime and a weekend. So it's been quite fun getting some stitches in, because there was a little while end of last year when I was so focused on doing Adele that once I'd finished her in November, I did sort of have a little bit of a break from stitching because of putting too much pressure on myself to try to finish things. And I have so many projects going around that I could choose whichever projects I like to actually stitch on, but there's only a certain amount that I haven't packed ready to go to Australia, move to Australia, that I've just been focusing on the ones that I've sort of got unpacked and I've left out on purpose for that reason. So I have been doing some purchasing, and one of the things that I have purchased is a local lady here in New Zealand has kindly made some magnets, so the magnets that you can buy from Amazon and things like that goes around and holds your fabric together, and they have like a round dome that you clip on from one side or the other, and it holds all your fabric. So some of those, I purchased some of those, but the magnets weren't strong enough to hold the fabric that I've got. And the likes of Saga, there's lots of fabric on the outside of the Q-snap that you sometimes have to hold up if you're doing long dogs, or you're doing even mirabilias and things like that. There is lots and lots of fabric. So because I tried the other ones and they didn't actually connect together correctly, I decided that I needed to actually find something stronger. So one of the local ladies by the name of Libby here in New Zealand was actually showcasing her ones that she'd created, and they looked really good. So, and because she was sort of advertising to say that they've actually got really strong magnets and things like that. So hopefully you'll be able to see this properly. So this is what they look like. There's three different sizes of what size you can get. So this is, I think, the medium. Let me just grab two more. Sorry, I've got them all sort of just bunched together, just so that I don't lose them all. But let me just pull three that I think are different sizes. Okay, so if I can advertise it this way. Oops. So these are the three sizes that you can get. Oh, they're so hard because they try to magnet together. These are the three sizes that you can get. Okay, and because one side of it is actually bigger, it's got a deeper dish than the other side, it's perfect, because at the back of your Q-snap, for me, because I stitch in the ditch, this is flat on the bottom, is actually flat with the fabric. But for me to get it up and around all the fabric that's on the side, I needed to have a higher one here, which is great, because this comes down, goes into the ditch of where I stitch my fabric, and then it connects from the bottom and goes like that. So this fits my Q-snap. It also fits all the fabric that I'm trying to hold. So I just roll it up and then stitch that around and stick it over like that, and it actually fits perfectly. So I know that this is actually a new project for Libby. I'm not too sure how long she's had them available, but I know it hasn't been too long. And I'm just going to actually pop up her details just here. So hopefully if I hold that still enough, you'll be able to see her details and how to contact her. She is on Facebook, and you can drop her an email at that email address. So they are really cheap. So you can get 12 of any sort of ratio. You can get 10 of the bigger ones, 2 little ones, whatever. And I just got 4 of each to make up the 12. And it was like 27 New Zealand dollars. So to me, that's actually really cheap to do such a really good job. So if you're interested in those, by all means contact Libby. And if you can't get a hold of her or anything like that, maybe just drop me a message either on Instagram, drop me an email, or through Facebook, and I can pass on your details to her and ask her to contact you. The other thing that I had actually been, I've done some purchasing for, is for some sulky cotton. Now, This is very similar to the bigger spools that you get, but it's a different weight, I believe. This is a 30 weight. And I got introduced to this when Nicola had actually done her long dogs in the 2 different of these ones. And so she gave me the website to go and have a look, a New Zealand place here. And I'll pop those details down here for you. I went on and had a look, and they had 10 different colours. Well, if you've been following me for a little while, you'll know that I have this problem about how I like to have everything within a range or a set or anything like that. So of course I didn't just stop at buying the one colour that I really loved. I went and bought 5 of each of the colours. So this is how they come on the spool. There is 450 meters on this spool, which is a huge amount of meterage, and there's all different colors. So this is, sorry, I haven't taken them all out of the plastic bag, but you can get a teal, you can get like a beige. The purple is gorgeous, which is the color that I really wanted to go on there and grab. There is 10 different colors. Now I can give you the link down the bottom if you want to actually purchase those, and they are here in New Zealand, so I'm not 100% sure whether they ship outside of New Zealand or whether you can source them somewhere else closer to where you are. But they are amazing, and I really can't wait to start using them to do some long dogs, or to do some monochrome projects that I do have that I've purchased from Etsy. So they're actually really cool. I'm pretty sure you should be able to get them from everywhere, but where Nicola is actually recommended to go to is just like a Barina or a Barina shop, like a sewing machine shop, and they have those there. So they're actually really cool, and they were quite cheap. They were $7.90, I think. They were on special from $11 down to $7.90. And for 450 meters of that, I think that is actually a really good price when you actually compare it to a skein of DMC, having 8 meters in there. And I understand 8 meters plus the, which is 6 strands. So you will obviously get more 48 meters of the DMC, but 450 meters will actually get you quite a fair way into a project. So that's something else that I've been buying. I have been trying to actually stop buying things because of packing things up. So, and anything new that I bring into the house, my husband knows that it's new because I've packed most of my other stuff up. So, okay. So if that's all my stitching related things, if you are just here for the stitching, I just want to say thank you very much for coming along to check me out. This is hopefully will be a regular video going forward, that I try to do it either a weekly or 2 weekly basis, sometimes more depending on when I've got something to show. But if you are happy to actually finish there, then please take care and happy stitching. If you'd like to actually just get a little bit of a life update, then by all means hang around for a few more minutes so I can let you know what's been happening in my world. So, okay, so the last update I gave was that we hadn't sold the house, and we were really hoping that it would go quite quickly. Well, the unfortunate news is we still haven't sold the house, but we have had quite a bit of interest. A lot of people have come along, had a look at the property, fell in love with it, but they do have a property to sell on their own. So once they sell their place, then they would possibly consider coming back, putting an offer in, and going from there, which is fine. So I know how hard it is to sell a house in the markets that is going on at the moment. The minimum, I think they said the average was like something between 4 and 8 months to actually sell the property. And I think that's now just increased now to the minimum of the average being like sort of 5 to 6 months to try to sell a property. So, which is not good news for people trying to sell, but for people that are trying to buy in the market, it gives them quite a few properties to actually look at, which is great for them. So, March is actually normally my busy time where I come in at work, where it starts getting really, really heavy with work hours, the stress that I need to do, and everything that I have to get done at work to actually get us through the new rating year that starts on the 1st of July. I am very, very happy to say it won't be a busy period for me this time, because I have resigned from my position as of Monday just gone, and I'm not returning to work. So I have leave available, some sick leave, some annual leave, that will actually take me through to my last day of work, which is the 25th of April. And I am now, I could say stress-free, but that's not true. From work stress, I don't have that on my shoulders anymore, and I do feel like a huge big weight's come off my shoulders to actually be able to give up that position and now concentrate on getting things done at home to be able to move to Australia. So the plan going forward is that if the house hasn't sold by the 3rd of May, I will fly to Sydney and I will look for a position in Australia, whether it's temp work or a full-time job or however it works. It's that will be yet to be seen. But I will fly to Australia on the 3rd of May. Craig will come along with me and we will set up a bank account, get a tax file number for him for when he's ready to come over, and also buy a car so that I've got a car to be able to go and find a job and things like that. So a month from now, a month today actually, I will be flying out to Australia, to where I will be living permanently for however long that is. The unfortunate part is that if the house hasn't sold by then, Craig will need to come back, and because he's still employed, he will come back and actually stay here and until the house sells, or until I can secure a full-time job in Australia where financially he would be able to then come over and be able to find a job and stay there with me, and we will just wait till the house sells. So the real estate would be able to look after and manage the house, even if it's empty, being on the market, and then we could just fly back when we need to, for once the house sells, to sign documents or whatever that is. So most of it can be done electronically, but the final sign-off for settlement needs to be done in person with the solicitor, so we would fly back for that. So that is my plans. I no longer work at the council. Well, I do work there, but I don't have to go back into work, which is actually very good, because for the last a few months it has been quite toxic. There's one lady in our team that has caused quite a few dramas, and her needs have actually been very much highlighted, that we have to be careful how we deal with things, and that's been taken into consideration for her. But my stress or anything to do with me has not actually been taken into consideration. So I decided that it was time for me to leave and they can deal with that stress on their own. So I'm very happy that I don't have to go back there. I am going to miss all the ladies and gents that I worked with, but I can keep in contact with them regardless. And I think if the more you stay in a place that's toxic or that's not suitable for your current situation, the harder it is, and the more chance that your family have actually got of losing you sooner than what you'd really like to. So I'm glad that I'm out, and now I can spend some time cross-stitching. I've been doing a lot of packing up boxes and getting them ready to go over to Australia so that I can start a new life over there. So I've put my profile up on Seek for employment, and I've applied for a couple of jobs over there. So hopefully something will come up in the next little while and I'll be able to move across and enjoy time over there with my family while I've got a position or got a job, and we can move on from there. So I'm very happy with being able to move in that next chapter of our lives. So the camping or the travel will be a little bit put on hold for a little while. I don't mind if I'm happy to get temp work just to actually give me a 6-month contract or something like that before we go traveling, which will give us a time for the house to sell and be able to move from there. But even if we were to do the travel on the way back, so we spend 3 or 4 years over in Australia, or 4 or 5 years, however long we're going to be there, to work first, and then we will plan our holiday to actually do the trip around Australia and then come back after that. We're not sure what will happen, but we are making steps to make the change happen now. So I am pretty happy, and I'm happy to think that I can do stitching now. I have time through the day in between packing. I've tried to be very regimented with packing some boxes in the morning first before I sit down to stitch, and then I can stitch through the night if I need to, or late into the night like I always have. So that's pretty exciting. My daughter has just reached 22 weeks on having her second child, and pregnant with her second child. So the baby is due on my mum's birthday in August. So even though if I fly over in May, I will actually still intend to come back for the birth in August. It will just depend on whether work is that, if I'm in a temporary position or anything like that. So I'm going to be very upfront with them and let them know that I do want to come back for a few weeks in August. So hopefully that will be acceptable within the new role, but we will see and play it by ear, depending on what happens after that. So I've just put an update photo of Finley here because I know you guys know about him. So I'll put a photo up here. He's now 2 years old and is having an amazing time in life. I say terrible twos. My daughter says the terrific twos, although she does admit every now and then that his temper tantrums and things like that at 2 are not so terrific. But he is still a gorgeous kid. I haven't caught up with our granddaughters for a little while. Amelia turned 3 in March as well, and Alana, who was born in December, end of December. I still haven't actually seen her since the first time that we seen her in January, so which is a little sad, but it does take 2 people to make a relationship work, and we are always the people that give in, and we're always the one that try to catch up and go and do things and see people and things like that. I think it's time that we sort of let other people realize that they need to make the effort as well. So, and that's the same, family or friends, whichever it is. It does need to work both ways. So, yeah. So I think I'm just rambling now. It's been 37 minutes. I will move on and let you get on with your day. But thank you very much for actually hanging around and listening to me ramble for a while, show you my cross stitch. Plans going forward is that I'm just going to keep working on the 2 long dogs, the fishies going on and the fish and ships, and I'll also work on caterpillar cross stitch. So they will be my focus until I can come up with a way that I'm going to get around the Saga issue. And if I can sort that out, then I'll get back onto Saga and finish that before I finish anything else. So I was on track to finish that probably August. I don't believe that's going to be the case now, but we'll see how we go. 1 stitch at a time, as Theresa says, and it's the best way to get through your projects. So I did actually forget that I wanted to shout out a couple of Flosstubers that I've been watching, and a couple of these are actually new people, but there is one that I've been watching for a little while. So the first one is Sheldon in Stitches. Sheldon has very similar projects to myself, and I just love his temperament, how he's real easy to listen to. He's very good with behind the camera, and I do thoroughly sit there and enjoy watching. I did binge watch him at the beginning because I sort of caught him. I found him after, I think, 4 floss tubes that he'd done. So I sort of went back and started from number 1, as I do with most new ones that I've watched, and just watched one after the other. So I ended up, by the time I'd finished watching the 4th one, he'd actually already created 5 and 6, or he'd created 5, and then he's just put out number 6. So I've gone and watched that as well. So he's very good. If you give him a shout out, I will make sure I pop his details below. cat hair stitches. They're from Milwaukee, and that's Jessie and Stephanie. They are lovely as well. They've got some really cool projects. Some that I've not going to actually admit that I've been enabled by it. It's so easy to enable someone when they know they're not allowed to spend, or they shouldn't spend any money on cross stitch. All the projects come out that, oh yes, I have to have that and I have to have that. So go and check them out. Hathaway Stitches, which is Erin and Amity. I've been watching them for a little while. Nicola recommended those two lovely ladies, and they have some amazing projects. Their choice of colour fabric on their projects is actually really top notch, and it's easy to actually sit back and go, oh yeah, that fabric would look really cool with this project. But when you do the floss toss and things like that, I'm always hesitant whether that's going to be, the fabric color is going to be too much, or it's not going to be you're not going to be able to see the pattern on there. So I'm a little bit bland with what I choose, but they have a really good knack at it. So, and of course, Amity has her own projects that she's designed, which are actually really cool. It's Freak with a Beak, I think it is. I can't remember the exact name of it, sorry Amity, but I'll pop the details down below as well, so that you can actually see, if you don't watch them already, which I find it hard to believe, but if you don't watch them, but they are actually really cool. And the last one was Theresa. Now she is from Austria, and her Flosstube name is Emanon, Emanon. She's only got 50 subs, so she's very new to Flosstube. New as in, I think, just not well known enough that many people watch her, so they're sort of just slowly creeping, her figures are slowly creeping. I don't believe English is her first language, but you can there's no barrier there. You can definitely understand what she's saying, and she's got some really cool projects. She's now got 6 or 7 Flosstubes out, I think, and I done the same as I did with Sheldon. I started from the beginning and just watched her the whole way through. I don't believe that she's confident enough to think that she can do Flosstube, but I do think that she just needs to keep going and show off what she's doing and things like that. So give her some love and go over and check her out. That's all the shout outs for the moment. I do watch quite a few other people, but I will shout out some more on the next video. But I will definitely go now because it's 42 minutes in and I definitely am rambling. So have a lovely week, weekend, fortnight, whichever it is that I see you beforehand, and hopefully you get lots of stitching in. Take care, and I will catch up with you soon. Bye-bye.